Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me today. I do hope you're well. Right, we're back in Planet Zoo and Tiny Zoo. So this is at the moment this is the only zoo that I'm currently working on. My other zoos are kind of on hold for now. I'm just having a lot of fun with this one. So yeah, you might see other zoos coming and going. In fact, there is a new project that I'm just starting a bit of work on that might come along soon. But yeah, some of my older zoos are just temporarily on hold. Anyway, this is Tiny Zoo. So in our last episode, we were building this cute little habitat for our capybara. As you can see, they're all very happy in here, running around like maniacs. Here we go with a bit of an aerial view of Tiny Zoo. It's looking pretty nice, actually. I think as far as a zoo goes, I think it looks fairly realistic, doesn't it? I think it's nice and busy, you know, lots of habitats and lots of foliage. So yeah, I'm really liking the look of it so far. And as you can see over here, this is today's habitat. It's a big swimming pool. There we go. That's the habitat. That's it. I'm just going to put one goldfish in, and he's going to swim around and get bored. No, not really. So this was just the basic sort of water that I wanted to do in this particular habitat, with a slope leading down. So you got a bit of a shallow end and a bit of a deeper end. It does change as the build goes on, and into this arena we will be putting these. Now I don't know how you pronounce this. It's a Nile something. I think it might be pronounced Lechwe. I think a Lechwe. But I could be very wrong. If you know better, I apologise. Please do let me know. Again, I could just Google it, but I prefer to just pretend that I know things. I'm pretty sure it's not pronounced how it's spelt. That's the main thing. I'm pretty sure you don't say Lechwe, because that's just silly, isn't it? So yeah, so anyway, these cute little things are coming into this habitat today. So this is another one of the new animals. They come up from, where are they? The marshes and swamps of South Sudan and Ethiopia. So my idea for their habitat was to make it a little bit swampy. You don't really think of antelope as being in swamps, and to be honest, I don't really know these. Obviously, they're named after the Nile, so I guess they like water, and I guess they just, you know, like a bit of swampland, a bit sort of marshland and swampland. So that was sort of the idea I was going for. Generally with the animals like this, you think of them roaming around in the fields of Africa, don't you? Out in the savannas and the plains, but not these ones. Oh, sad, they're endangered. That's never good, is it? 4,300 estimated in the wild. That's not a lot, is it? How sad. Right, so the plan was to have the habitat coming out like this, or around here, to have the water in the middle here. I wanted to sort of a shallow area and a deep area. Lots of rocks and lots of swampy stuff. There's also the new stuff that you can do in the water now, as well as changing the colour. You can do this, look, you can add bubbles. How cool is that? And you can add mist. So you stick the mist up, and your water will start creating its own mist. So this is a really good addition to the game, because it used to be that you had to do these things manually with special effects, but now you don't. So there we go, really good. So I will be making full use of that. Now this habitat works out pretty nicely, actually. I do a nice bit of custom pathwaying around the outside, which I'm pretty pleased with. So this is something that I've been doing in this zoo. So not everywhere in this zoo is actually walkable for people. Obviously you have to allow the staff to get to the habitats, but for example this habitat here, I have this sort of fake stairway coming up to a viewing area here. What can you see in here? Adorable little Arctic foxes, that's what you can see. There we go. So yeah, so I do create these sort of fake pathways in this zoo. So that is what I do in this episode, which you'll get to see in a minute. So let me move on. Let's load up my next save point and see how I progressed. So as you can see, the water has changed a bit, because I wanted to create a sort of a second entry area at the back here. So I just flattened out the land a little bit and created this much shallower area. I have also put the bubbles and the mist on, which I think looks really cool actually. I love the mist all rising up, that looks really nice. So here we have our antelope. Are they classed as antelope? I think they probably are. Let's have a look. I don't even know if it will tell me in here actually what they're classed as. Let's have a look anyway. Just want to make sure I'm calling the right things. No, they're not technically antelope, I don't think. No, they're a species of ungulate, or whatever that means. It doesn't mention antelope anywhere, I don't think, does it? I don't know, they look like antelope, but I guess not. Anyway, here they are. I love the males, they've got cool looking horns. And I like the sort of pattern of the white down their necks. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Oh, look, they actually got little white stripes on their tail as well. Interesting. And then the females look very different, so much smaller, no horns, as is standard in these sorts of animals. The males have the horns because they use them for fighting, obviously to get the females. And the females are generally a bit weedier, quite frankly, because they don't fight each other. And it's the males that do the fighting and protecting of the females. So there we go. Right, so the rocks, obviously I've gone for the nice mossy rocks because they're the ones that look good, sort of marshy, you know, mossy, marshy. It all goes together, doesn't it? So that's what I've gone with here. It's all pretty straightforward work, to be honest. Oh no, I've created a little cave down here. I didn't even mean to do that. Never mind. So yeah, so that's the basic shape of the water and the rocks there. So my thinking was that I wanted the pathway to come around the back here somewhere, around the back, so that the animals could actually come out over this backside area here and then down the side as well. But coming over here, it occurred to me that if I put the pathway along here and people are standing down walking here, they're not going to be able to actually see the habitat at all. So I needed to create a raised pathway along here, so it was up sort of in line with the top of the rocks so that people could actually look over the rocks and see into the habitat. And so this is when I came up with the idea of doing a fake walkway. So basically my plan was to have the proper pathway come out to about here somewhere, and then to create a fake one which lifts them up so that they're walking at a higher level all the way around the end of the rocks here until they get to about here, and then I could start bringing it further down and down and down and down, and eventually join back into a proper normal pathway over here somewhere, leading back to over here. So yeah, that was the plan. I think that's probably what I did next, but let's load up the next part, shall we, and see whether that was what I did next. And here we have it. This is our raised walkway. So pretty straightforward. I just created this as a building. So you just got these basic, Australian planks along the bottom with some Planet Zoo beams as the uprights and some stretched rope creating the sides. I did originally go with the sort of the droopy rope, but actually it didn't work right. It didn't look good, and it didn't look strong enough as well. I wanted it to be a fairly sturdy looking barrier. You often get these rope barriers where this isn't real rope. Well, it is rope, but it's very solid. It's kind of pulled taut, and it's almost wrapped in sort of a plasticky, waxy stuff so that it's completely solid, but it still looks like rope. So that was kind of my thinking. So obviously this isn't an in-game thing, something that people can actually walk on, but the real path comes to here, and then all I did was just copied it and pasted it and maneuvered it so that it looks like people can come along and slowly work their way upwards until eventually they get to this level over here, and then the walkway just comes around the edge. I had to sort of do little bits like this on the corner, put some extra planks and some extra upright pieces here, and then they just come all the way along here, slowly then coming down again, stepping down again. I had to add on some extra barriers at the end here. I couldn't do this with rope because the rope was all the wrong length to work between this post and this post, but that, that's fine. And then they come along here and back down onto a normal pathway. So yeah, there we go. I like doing this sort of thing. I like doing these sort of fake paths. Because I'm not opening this park up to the public at any point, it doesn't matter. It's all about the look. You know, I just wanted it to look nice. And it's good because if people actually were on here as they come up here, they would slowly sort of lose sight of the animals a little bit, but they just get a little glimpse, and then as they come along they get a little bit higher each time until eventually they're up to sort of this level, and by the time they get here they get a really nice view looking over, and you can see the animals all over the place. So yeah, I really like it actually. It's I think if it was real, I think it would look really good, and it would be very practical as well. So yeah, very pleased with that. The shape, obviously I didn't need to leave any room here. I needed it to hug the rocks, but then coming around the back here, I wanted a nice area here so I could put a shelter in this corner. And then they've also got a nice bit of room here because these animals still need a bit of room. I wanted them to have a sort of a crowded marshy area, which is the water, but I also wanted them to have plenty of open space for roaming around as well. Because they're very active creatures, this sort of I'm going to say antelope again because I'm sure they are, but you know what I mean. This sort of creature, they need to run, you know, they need space to be able to run around. So that's given them plenty of room around this front and side area here. Right, there we go. That's my fake pathway. So let's move on, shall we, and see what I got up to next. Right, so I've had a bit of fun with some shelters here. I wanted to do something a bit different, something that I hadn't really done before, and like I said in the last episode, it's very hard coming up with new creative ideas for things like shelters or barriers or well, anything, just the general sort of look of a habitat. You know, it isn't easy coming up with new things. So, but this is what I came up with. I think it is a bit different. It's a bit quirky and funky. So you've got this large fake tree trunk in the middle. Obviously just disappears down into the ground, and then around the outside I just used the different lengths of these branches, and then just sort of copied them all around the edge to make a bit of a shelter. So really simple, and then I just put them next to each other at different heights, and then in this back corner I put 3 of them at slightly different heights there as well. So it encourages the animals to come over and sit in the corner here, lie down where people can get nice and close to them, and then at the front here the same, where people are walking along here they can watch the animals as they sleep in their shaded area. Yeah, I think they're pretty cool, something a bit different, aren't they? And then the rest of the barrier around the outside here is let's have a look. What is this piece? It's just a mesh fence. There we go, mesh fence, nice and simple. It comes in the nice green colour, so I left it the green colour. I didn't want to change that, and that just goes around the edge here all the way up to this entrance. The entrance here, I kind of like this actually. So these are those fake rocks again. So this is the same route as the middle here, and then I just coloured them a nice dark brown and kind of put 3 of them together on each side to create these big sort of, almost like termite mounds really, rather than tree roots. But yeah, so that's our little entrance way, and then the mesh fence continues around here. I decided to cut this corner here. It probably, you know, naturally it might have come along and joined onto here, but this is sort of a little dead area here that the animals wouldn't have really been able to get into, and I wouldn't have wanted them to. So I thought, let's just bring it along here, cut them off, and then this could be decorated with a tree or foliage or whatever I choose to do. So yeah, so again it's another new type of barrier. It's kind of an in-game thing rather than a custom one, but it's all you need for this sort of animal. This animal, you know, this isn't a dangerous animal. You could easily stroke it if it wanted to be stroked. So at least this sort of height of barrier, it's protective for people if they want to stay away from the animals, but at the same time, if the animals came over, you would be able to reach over and touch them. So yeah, and I decorated the edge or the floor with the moss, the flat moss rocks as well. Again, just trying to blend in the pathway with the earth on the other side. So yeah, there we go. It's looking like a decent size habitat, decent layout. You've got plenty of water space and plenty of land space. Nice bit of shelter. I think they can actually climb up on a few of the rocks as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, they can just about come up onto these rocks here. I think I've seen them when using this bit here once. Don't think I've seen them up there or up here, but it's a shame. I think realistically they should be able to get onto more of these rocks. Again, it's all to do with the in-game mechanics, but I'm pretty sure in real life they would hop out and climb up onto this rock here, for example, and lie down next to the water. They'd certainly come out on this bit here and walk all the way over here, but yeah, they can't. It's fine. Dinner time. Yum yum yum. Straw, hay, yummy. Not a lot of flavour, I wouldn't suggest in that, but they don't seem to mind, do they? They're tucking in. Nice. Oh, look, this one over here's got its own pile. Isn't she lucky? Oh no, I reckon some friends are going to come along. There we go. Dive in the water there. They're coming over for some food as well, aren't they? Oh, just ran straight through the food, that one. Anyway, let's move on. Right, so still some more decorating to do. Need some foliage in here, certainly around the rocks. Obviously some trees, fill this little gap in here, get some media boards up. So yeah, various bits and pieces still to do. So let's load up the next point, shall we? Okay, here we go, our finished habitat. So yeah, quite a jump forward, quite a lot to go through. So let's get started, shall we, with the trees. So I didn't want to go with the big umbrella trees everywhere. I have obviously got a couple. I think I've got, yeah, there's one over here and one over here. But I've also got some different types. Oh yes, and one here, of course, in this small gap in the pathway. But yeah, I wanted some taller things. I wanted to create this sort of sense here as you walk along the raised pathway, like you're actually going through a little sort of foresty area. So you've got these massive tree trunks on each side of you, these bald cypress, very impressive tall trees here. I really liked these right up next to the pathway. And then you come around the back, you've got what have we got here? We've got a beech tree at the back here, and then a couple more of the big bald cypress around here, and then you've got this giant one inside the habitat here as well. You've got another, what have we got? Another beech tree here, another umbrella, and another one of these bald cypress at the front as well. I think they look really cool. It gives it enough shelter, so lots of shelter, lots of cover, but at the same time it's not completely shaded, so you still get some sun coming in. So that's our trees. We've got some basic shrubs down in here as well. What is this one? I can't quite remember. Oh, the dog rose bush. Yes, I think there is a smaller version of this with flowers, but I went with the larger version there. Another one over here. Got some little patches of these grasses down, these underwater grasses. I just use these above ground. I think they make nice little sort of long grass patches like that. Obviously you've got the long grass in game that I've left some of this, but I do like these slightly denser bits of long grass as well. What else have we got in here? Just some little bits more of the grasses, little bearberry bush. You got some scavola around the water here. I think this stuff looks great when you just sink it into the rocks like this. It really makes it look like it's clambering all over the rocks. Around the back here you've got a few of my favourites, the creosote, it was this turkey, is it? Crimson turkey, that's the one, and the little sage one there as well. So just a few of those in there. Couple more over here. You've got the diamond leaf willow bush. I love these. I use these ones all the time. And then just one more or two dotted around the back here as well. So yeah, just enough, just so it looks like it's got stuff growing in it, but not so much that it's overgrown or looks a bit too busy, you know. I still wanted plenty of open area for the animals to walk around. So they've got some entertainment. They've got a raised feeder here. Excuse me. They've got a feeding barrel here, a scarecrow. So this is a new one as well. I can't actually remember if this was in the newest DLC or if it was the one before. It could have been the one before, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this is another feeder. You've got the little scent thing here. You've got one of these little balls that they pick up and run around with, which is actually there, and they've dumped it over here. Then you've got a big old scratching post here. They love using that. And then you've got another feeding ball over at the back here as well. Is there stuff in the water? Do you know what? I haven't put a rubber duck in the water, which is disgraceful. I will have to come back and do that for some reason. I think it's probably because the rubber duck didn't appear on their list of potential enrichment items. So it hasn't, obviously I've not put it in because it hasn't come up on the list. So yeah, maybe they don't need a rubber duck. Maybe they can live without it. Although I just feel like every bit of water should have a rubber duck in it. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Anyway. So yeah, so that's our enrichment. You can see they're nice and happy. Look at them having a nice little. Oh look, he's moonwalking this dude, or this girl I should say. You see that? She was actually moonwalking. That was quite funny. Yeah, so media wise, just got a couple of little media boards. You've got one around this way, and then you've got one on this side here as well. And then a few benches and bins as usual just around the outside, so people can sit down here, just chill out and watch the animals through the bars. And that's it. That is our, I'm going to say Lechwe. No, is that what I said before? Lechwe or Lechwe? No, Lechwe, I think, possibly. I don't know. I'm going to call them a Lechwe. I'm probably wrong, but there we go. So the Nile Lechwe. That is our little habitat. I'm pretty happy with this one. The animals certainly seem happy. They've got everything they could possibly want. And yeah, it worked out nicely. I like the little fake raised pathway that I've done around the outside. I think that worked out really nice. And I like these new shelters. I may well reuse these at some point, save them as a blueprint. You know, they do the job. They're pretty straightforward, but I do like them. And I do like these new trees as well. The bald cypress. I'm not sure when these came into the game. I don't think they were one of the original ones. I think they are a newer one because I've never used them before. But now that I know about them, I will use them more because I just love the look of these trunks. They just look fantastic, don't they? So yes, I may well be using them more. And there we go. That is how it blends into our tiny zoo so far. I think that's yeah, looks good. I like it. So there we go, that is our episode. I do hope you've liked it. If you have, you could hit the like button for me, that would be awesome. If you've got any comments on the habitat itself, then please do leave them down in the comments section. As you know, I do love interacting with you. I don't get a huge amount of interaction here on the channel. Obviously it's only a small channel. We've not got that many people subscribed yet. But I do reply whenever people post. I do like to have conversations. So if you've got anything you want to say to me, please do. So that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode I can tell you is... Ooh, I can't actually remember where I built it. I think... Right, yes, over here. This is what's right. Yes, so this gap here, so this pathway disappears and it goes into this area here. And I can tell you that it is... Let me find them. Let me scroll down. Long way down, right down here somewhere. It is the platypus. Oh yes, I have put platypus into the zoo. So this is the next new animal from the last DLC. There is one more animal, I believe, this one, the red-crowned crane. So that will be coming into the zoo soon. I haven't actually built a habitat for that one as of recording this commentary, but I have already built my platypus habitat. And it's turned out really, really nice. I had a lot of fun with this one. Yeah. And it goes into this area just here. So that is going to be our next episode out in the next week or so. So hopefully you can join me for that. Until then, do take care and I will see you soon. Bye for now.